Welcome in, everybody, to the Can We Kick It podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike, along with Chuck here.
What up?
How's it going, Chuck?
Oh, shit. I messed up my catchphrase.
It's like we're going back to season 1 of Can We Kick It.
Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Yeah.
What's your name? Oh, god damn it.
I'm Kunu, and this is
POP.
We haven't been in person in a while.
Yeah.
So we're used to looking at each other's fat heads on Zoom.
Yeah, just the head.
And
not my gut.
So we can, we're going to hide. Hopefully Mike doesn't lift up his arms too much and start showing skin.
Let's hope not. Yeah. Start doing some stretches.
Yeah. Are you going to do some of Dwight's gyms for muscles? Like gym for muscles exercises?
I really want to get ripped for Val Kilmer.
It's like when Gabe and it was Gabe and Dwight.
Oh yeah,
set them up and they were
getting hypnotized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a hilarious blooper as well when they're talking about taking powdered protein. And Gabe's like, I remember when biceps were in.
Yeah.
I think Dukakis was running for governor. Yeah. So
but you think core is all the rage.
They're just basically arm tits.
It's like why you couldn't have water and just eat it.
Just eat it raw like a man. Oh jeez, delirious.
Good old office stuff.
So we just finished watching The Mandalorian.
We did.
So we did our first in-person watching together, and that was pretty good. We watched The Last of Us, which we'll have a mainstream hot take on.
No hot take?
No hot take.
Little bit of a lukewarm, mild.
You been watching anything else?
Rewatching Kunk on Earth and Kunk on Britain, which if you haven't watched that is fantastic. And watched the first 2 episodes of the weekly news show on HBO called Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Yeah.
Really good too. Really 2 good episodes. One about AI and Chat GPT, and another one that was about like psychedelics as a form of treatment, or combined with like mental health treatment.
Yeah.
That was really good because a lot of veterans that have vowed that it's really, really beneficial for them.
I saw the documentary about that in real life. It was called Echo 3 on Apple TV. It sucked.
Well, good thing that was a mockumentary.
Yeah. You watched it on HBO, so it's got to be more accurate.
There's actually a Netflix documentary about, and they were showing some clips from it. Blanca watched it. And said it was really good. I forget what it's called, but I think it came out last year.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah, I've just been watching, started to watch Andor. Only passed the first episode on that.
Yeah. You finally made it.
Yeah, finally getting there, yeah. Watched Shrinking.
Yeah.
Great last episode.
Episode 6 was it 5 or 6?
I think it was 6.
Yeah, it was good. That was my favorite one.
I think so. Best one of the series so far. Harrison Ford on edibles. Hilarious.
When he shows up at the party. He's got his sunglasses on and yeah.
I don't like this. And he's like, is this better? Oh my god, that is better. It's like, jeez, dude. Yeah, that was hilarious. Jason Segel just puking all over the piano during the proposal was brutal. Well,
I mean, if I drank, that's how I would be at parties, because I don't want to have a party, but he kind of gets convinced to throw
parties over people. Yeah.
Yeah, lots going on with lots of grief that these people are dealing with. And, it's getting good. I was a little worried in the beginning, but it'll be an enjoyable watch. I also I got through 6 episodes of The Bear.
Yeah.
Which is really, really, really good.
Hey, cousin. Did you like The Bear?
Hey, cousin. Cousin. And then I watched 3 or 4 episodes of Bad Sisters on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And it's about, I think they're in Ireland. Some 3 sisters or 4 sisters, and they kill one of the sisters' husband because he's a giant prick, and that's what they kind of set up. You really don't know what happened to him yet, at least in the first episodes that I watched, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable.
Nice.
But yeah, actually, TV watching has been kind of down this week.
I agree. I waited till today to watch The Last of Us.
Yeah, and we watched The Mandalorian today, which also came out. But I don't know. I started last week for Lent, reading 30 minutes a day.
Nice.
And doing sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks, and no soda and no energy drinks.
I know you animal. You've had 2 bottles of water since you've been here. I'm starting to worry.
Well, I've had about 7 or 8 normal sized bottles today already. Yeah. Well, and then I also have been waking up at 5 a.m. to go run every day. So, I think I was telling you today, I did 7 miles this morning, and then I played soccer at lunch, which I ran about 1.5 miles. So, waking up early, and so I've been falling asleep early.
And when do you usually like to read? Do you like to read before you go to sleep, or do you like to read in the morning?
No, so I read before I go to bed. So
okay.
What I've been doing now every night this week, and I think it's actually helped me sleep better, because instead of doing something enjoyable like watch TV,
for sure,
I'm reading.
Yeah,
a book.
Just really takes it out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I read. I set my timer on my phone, 30 minutes.
Nice.
And I read. And I get through about 30 to 35 pages. And so, as you can attest, the book I gave you today at work,
so looking forward to
The World Without Us.
Yeah.
I got through 360 pages. And I read some on the plane, but I got through about 300 pages in a week. So that was probably over 7 days. 40 pages a day, 50 pages a day.
Now, I'm a book lover. I love to read. You got to catch me in a stride when I'm just reading all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, that rhymed. Are you a paperback or a hardback fan?
Paperback.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I like some hardbacks for display.
Yeah.
I've got some I used to buy a lot of. I would go through phases where I read a lot, and I go through phases where I want to read a lot.
Yep.
And then I buy books.
Yep.
And then I read 20 pages, and then they're in the closet. So
that's what that looks like.
Yeah. Well, that's what I finished this one, and then I had 10 minutes left to read last night. So I go to I have a just stack of books sitting in my bedroom closet, and I went in there, and I'm like, okay. This one I read 20 pages a year ago in one day.
Yeah.
This one I have a book on the blockchain, which I'm halfway through. I got a book, The Signal and the Noise, with Nate Silver and statistics, which I'm 200 out of 350 pages that I started reading 5-6 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just, I go through these periods, so that's why I wanted to focus on, during 40 days, just reading 30 minutes a night, so I can kind of build it a little bit into routine.
Yeah.
And which has been interesting because I'll read it, and then I'm already tired because I'm waking up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock and running a lot. Yeah. And so I'm reading, and then I put on Community or something and put on a headphone, and I turn over with my back to it on my phone, and I'm asleep within I don't know, a minute.
Don't even make it past the cold open.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when do you like to read?
Yeah, I usually like to read, I think, before bedtime.
Yeah.
That's my go-to. It's hard because I'm into watching Friends and all this kind of stuff right now, so it's we'll pop on a couple episodes. Yeah, you got to get with the program. Yeah. But, yeah, I think usually before bedtime because it helps me pass out.
Yeah.
It takes my mind off of a bunch of other shit and just focus on reading lines, and then that's all it takes. But, yeah, you gave me that book today to read, The World Without Us. Yeah. And I can't tell you how excited I am to read it. I just looked at the table of contents because I love to look and see what it's going to go after, and it looks so good.
There's a really good chapter called The Petro Patch about the Houston Galveston chemical refinery complex, and I mean, this is a world we see, and with oil spills and plant explosions and things like that. So it's interesting to talk about, or for them to talk about, what if humans weren't there, how that would affect there. And it's less than you would think reading that. So it's interesting read, because I think the kind of takeaway that I got from reading it is like, the earth will repair itself. I mean, the earth heals itself. Yeah. And like, there's a good quote from Station 11 where they say to the monsters, we're the monsters. And it's like, that's what we are to the earth. No matter if you believe in global warming and the harm or whatever, but what we do to the earth is damaging, and it heals itself. And when humans are gone, it may overheal itself.
yeah. Nature works on a totally different timetable than humans can even fathom. So
Well, and it just talks about how there's one, I'm not gonna spoil it, but a chapter on birds and stuff, and like,
I saw that title and I was like, oh, okay.
Like 1.5 billion birds die a year by flying into glass buildings.
Crazy.
So like, if there's nothing there to impede, then how many birds will survive?
Yeah,
bird population would spike. But then also, that may evolve into another predator that would take out birds to control the population. Like, it has a way of controlling itself.
Yep.
I think humans, we interject like, oh, we got to control the hog population or the deer population. And it's like, well, if we don't, there'll be other natural predators like the car. No, but I mean, there's something will fill the void. Like, and
it's easy to try to control things when you're at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, and just I'm thinking about like hog hunting and controlling that population. If you take away the neighborhoods and all that impeded on their habitat, then it wouldn't seem like a ton. But I mean, I'm not a hippie thing. It's just, logically you look at it, and the book is interesting because it talks about it really focuses on like what our involvement is to the earth, and if we were to disappear, what they think would happen. So it's a really good book.
It's a great mind exercise.
What's your favorite book that you've ever read?
Oh, that's a tough one, man. You're gonna have to give me like a few days to think on that, because I've read a lot of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you have at least the top 3?
No, I would need a lot of time to think about that too, because in high school and junior high, I was in like the gifted and talented classes, and we read, or AP, like in junior high it was like GT, and then it became AP or all that. So I was always in AP English, and we had to read so much, like all the classics. And I think I liked reading, like kind of like how I watch TV shows now, like 1984, like Lord of the Flies.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of dystopian stuff. I'm a big fan of like Animal Farm.
Fucking great.
Even Catcher in the Rye. Like that was one that was like, it was kind of banned, and then but we had permission in our like AP English, and I think it was like 10th grade to read it. And it's like, you look at it now, it's like, why is this shit banned? Like, why are people like, you look at a bunch of books and you're like, why is it? Don't get offended over everything because it's not your lifestyle.
I know, right? Yeah.
But
it's a piece of fiction. Yeah.
I mean, and then I was reading a lot of biographies when I was reading. I tend to get that. I like to study, like, I've read a lot of books on the mafia and serial killers, and I like to understand what motivates people. So I tend to trend towards those kind of things.
I'll give you at least like a top 3.
Yeah.
It just hit me because I said, so most of these, and those can't see on camera. It's Astro Ball for sure. I haven't read most of these up here. Most of the ones I've read are in the other room, but I do see one that I have read. I think
Da Vinci Code?
Yeah. Actually, that's one book that I wish I could go back and read for the first time because it was a mind blower.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's The Forever War by
Oh.
Joe Haldeman. And it's a sci-fi about going to war with an alien species. And it happens over the span of it's kind of like Interstellar.
Yeah.
And then he goes off into space and he comes back and it's like 200 years later.
Can I borrow it?
Totally. Yeah. It's an amazing sci-fi read. It was written in the 60s during Vietnam.
Yeah.
And a lot around South Africa apartheid, Nelson Mandela, and Vietnam War. Just imagine that in space.
Nice.
And then he goes and comes back, and I'll just give you a little. Has nothing to do with the story, but he goes into space, and the general thing is everybody's heterosexual, and then he comes back, and as a form of population control, everybody's homosexual.
Yeah.
And he's the minority.
Oh wow!
It's an amazing
flip the script.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then he goes back out. So yeah, I'll lend it to you. It's good. The Forever War. There's this book called Command and Control. It's a nonfiction book about the nuclear rocket that exploded in Arkansas. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
I think it was called the Damascus incident. It was Damascus in Arkansas had a nuclear warhead rocket spring a leak and then exploded.
Oh wow.
Clinton was governor at the time, and it was all about how leading up to that, all the safety implementations to prevent nuclear weapons from exploding by accident. Crazy story.
That would be good. I mean, we're gonna have a book about the East Palestine, Ohio train derailment.
That's gonna. Well, yeah. Nowadays they go from books to Netflix specials.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be 17 TV shows about it. So
yeah, and that one, and then the word for God. Have you read The Left-Handed Darkness?
No.
It's by Ursula K. Le Guin. I've read a lot. I took a sci-fi and lit class in college. Mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, besides the classics that I read, most of my stuff now is historical, or I don't read a lot of fiction. Is that the fiction's the made up stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so. It's called The Dispossessed, and it's about democracy versus socialism.
Yeah. But
set on two planets that are next to each other. Amazing.
Oh wow.
Crazy story. Yeah. I've read some weird ass sci-fi, man.
Yeah, I like watching weird stuff. So.
Yeah. What?
Cool. Yeah. We'll have to come up with a list.
Yeah. That was a nice little tangent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big book readers. So.
Yeah, we cover all forms of media.
That's right. Video games, books, TV.
Next week's Truth Social. TV news.
TV news. Yeah.
I did mention Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, which is pseudo news.
I think we should start reviewing articles from The Onion.
Guys, did you read this article in The Onion?
RPBJ is racist. Tell you, man. But yeah, so you watched The Last of Us.
Yes.
You watched it on Sunday.
I watched it Sunday night. It's the first time I watched it on Sunday night since the first episode, I think.
Dang.
I was kind of hype G about this one, and
I was excited.
And I was a little disappointed. I was left a little disappointed, and I think part of it. So there's really not a ton to recap.
No, we don't have to do a full synopsis.
No, I'll do a real quick one, but we open with Ellie tending to Joel, and Joel's like, "Get out of here, leave me, because I'm gonna die."
Yep, back to the cabin.
They're in some cabin or some building.
Yep. And
she goes in upstairs, touches the door handle, and opens it like she's leaving, and then it flashes back to her jogging in a gym with a Sony Walkman in 2003, which, it's not even, it's not even 2003. It's probably very close to when she met Joel. Because It's in
a world where iPods don't exist.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they didn't find a Discman or a CD player, right?
Yeah.
But I guess in post-apocalyptic era, you find whatever you can get.
They still have batteries.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah.
Sorry.
How are they powering everything, right? So, or yeah. I'm sure there's probably shit ton of batteries like in abandoned stores and all that.
Oh, non-corroded. They just went full carbon neutral.
Speaking of, sorry. I don't know if it was a Saturday Night Live this season, but I saw it. Like it popped up my thing to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus or something doing a commercial for, I don't know, electric car that was all AA batteries. It was 9,634 batteries, and it's like your car comes with replaceable batteries, and like all these compartments start opening, and like Duracell AA start popping out. Sorry, it's just the battery thing made me think of that.
That's amazing.
But yeah, then you see Ellie getting picked on. She beats somebody up, and her friend, her best friend, you discover is gone and missing. And do you remember her name? We'll have to look it up. But Riley, that's right. And played by Storm. I forget the actress' name. I looked it up earlier. Storm Reed. And so she comes, wakes Ellie up in the middle of the night, takes her, wants to show her the mall, tells her she's with the Fireflies. Ellie is like straight up Fedra, like soldier in training. Brainwashed. And I don't know if Riley's, you think that she's trying to recruit her. At the end, Riley's like, Marlene said you can't come.
Yeah.
But it goes through this whole story. It's basically a young love story of two teenagers. And I think, so they go through the mall, they play video games. I liked when they were playing Mortal Kombat, because that was dope to play back in the day. And start thinking of all the different people and the moves and the
being loud as shit in the mall.
Yeah, and you get a glimpse. They don't see it at first, but like a clicker or stalker, one of the things kind of hiding out, stuck into something, but they go through all these surprises, and then Riley tells Ellie that she's leaving tomorrow, and this has been her station, and Ellie is upset, storms off, and then Riley has this toy that screeches, or
the Halloween store.
Halloween store. And Ellie comes running back thinking she's in trouble, and then they talk more, they kiss, and then the mushroom guy comes out, bites them both, and they say they have 3 options: to take the easy way out, kill themselves, to ride it out to the end, and I don't think there was the third option.
Because Ellie asked her what was option 3, and she just said like I'm sorry or something like that.
And then it cuts to Ellie back with Joel, and she ends up like suturing. She finds her Fedra officer training kicks in, and going through and gets a sewing kit and sews up Joel, which with how much blood he lost, I don't think is gonna help him too much.
Well, you're only getting the surface. I mean, he could be bleeding internally, and you just are.
Yeah, well, that's you just sew it up.
Sew this up, and he's just expanding from the inside out. Yeah.
So, I think my initial thought is, I was watching this and waiting for more to happen, and I kind of knew as soon as I saw that clicker, it was like, okay, this is gonna bite both of them.
Yeah.
Because we know Ellie got bit, and I thought Riley would, they both get bit, and Riley would start to turn, and Ellie would have to kill her, because Ellie talked about killing before, and we still are under the assumption that she's only killed the, a clicker or one of the mushroom people. So I think my disappointment in the episode was I wanted more on the backstory with her, like how she ended up in this Fedra camp. Like, did her parents abandon her? Was she like a baby and the parents got bit and she was hidden away and someone found her? Like, I want a little more of that backstory. And then the others is we kind of had I would say almost a one-off love story already that was like beautifully done and much better. Like, I have no problem with, I mean, the two love stories being two guys and two girls.
Sure.
Like, I mean,
we already saw it though in episode 3.
Yeah,
we already saw the love story. Like,
don't, like, you have 9 episodes, so we have 2 left after this. 2 of them are kind of standalone love story episodes, in my opinion.
Yep.
And the first one, episode 3, with Bill and Frank, was much better with much better actors. Sorry, Bella Ramsey, you're really good.
No, it's just much more poetic.
Yeah. If you're gonna do a love story, make it a little more poetic.
I think this was kind of obvious. I think was why I didn't necessarily like this episode. Is because, like, okay, obviously Ellie winds up alone.
Yeah.
And been bitten. Yeah. And she's hurt somebody.
And she heard the name Marlene too in this, so she's probably.
So she gets bit. She probably passes out. She wakes up and Marlene has found it both. Or she wakes up and she has to kill Riley. I thought when she got bit, she looked down at her arm. I thought Riley was going to try to kill her.
That's what we know that she would be. That she's alive. So, that's what I was thinking. Would Riley try to kill her, or, would they show, like you said, her waking up, or them both waking up, and like maybe Riley attacks and Ellie has to kill her, or Marlene finds them, and Riley's. Even if that, like, she finds them and sees both of them bit, she's gonna kill both of them. So I mean, I think there was, like you said, it was real obvious. Like, I liked the part of them being in the mall and being like on a little adventure, people finding happiness in the shittiness of the world. But we already had that part. We already had people finding happiness in the shittiness of the world. A little differently, because Bill and Frank just lived their life like nothing was wrong. And this was like the first kind of escape, we're assuming, for Ellie to see life outside of Fedra, or a Fedra zone. Yeah,
it's interesting just comparing it to episode 3, where Bill and Frank chose to live their life and then chose to take their own lives at the end.
Yeah.
And then compared this one to, I was just tossing this around my brain, how they didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
And they were going to ride it out together. So still love, or their version of, because they didn't say I love you or anything.
Yeah. But they're 17 and 14, so what is their version of love?
Exactly, right? I don't know, it was just, I just was tossing around an interesting concept around choice, and neither of them chose to be, raised by Fedra, and they both chose to walk away, pretty much. Like, I don't think either one wanted to go back to Fedra.
Well, I think Ellie was Fedra ride or die.
Yeah, she was waiting for the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's where Riley was like I was gonna be put on sewage duty. That was like,
oh god,
full-time job.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting contrast to episode 3, in how they chose to write it out, and yet Ellie doesn't get to choose to die, or she chooses to die, but she won't be able to.
Yeah,
because she's immune. I don't know. It's just an interesting contrast in the old generation versus the new generation, right? Because this is all about evolution.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something there. I haven't fully pulled it together, but.
Well, I would, I guess I'd like to see, did she just continue to run, or did Marlene come in?
Yeah.
And she had to convince her that, like, hey, we've been here it's been over a day, and my arm hasn't festered anymore, and I haven't turned, and I had to knife Riley in the side of the head, and Marlene takes a chance.
Maybe that's the case, is like Marlene like finds them both, and like Riley's turned.
Yeah.
And Ellie hasn't, so she's like, oh shit, like I gotta do something. But I don't know. Kind of would have been funny had Riley gotten bitten, just and she turned.
Yeah.
and Ellie had to kill her.
Yeah, that would be a little more poetic, I think, but I don't know. It was okay.
It
was missing something.
It was lacking. And maybe they'll follow that up in the next episode when they finish the flashback, because obviously it just shows her passing out, and we're just assuming that she meets Marlene somehow, but I don't know.
But I don't know if they're going to continue the flashback.
Maybe not.
Because I think now, just in the scenes, if you don't want to be spoiled, if you're not watching the scenes for next week, it's like they're somewhere, it's snowing, and Ellie meets some other people, and apparently, like, they're trying to convince her to go with them, or one person is trying to keep her around. So, I mean, I didn't...
Yeah, I love how everybody's like, she's one more mouth to feed, and it's just one guy who's like, I'll save her, and it's like, you should have just made that a fictional character.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, lacking, not a great episode. Definitely last one in the pile of the episodes. Bottom of the pile.
Yeah, I think the first one and episode 7 were the weakest of the first 7 so far.
Yeah.
And I think 1 is just weaker because 2 through everything else were really good. I guess 4 was a little bit of moving the story along, but overall been really good. And 1 was like kind of almost the video game,
for sure.
They had to
nod. Yeah, they had to nod to the crowd. Yeah,
which was good. Yeah. I mean, which I liked as well.
Yeah,
because I just remember in my very limited playing the video game where you're Sarah, and then you have this holy shit moment of like you get killed and you wake up as Joel 20 years later, and you're like, wait, I thought I was playing the other character,
right?
Because I was telling Dylan that you told me about the game, but you didn't tell me anything about it, and I started playing, and I was like, whoa, they change characters right away.
Yeah.
Or not right away, but...
Yeah. After the intro. Yeah. But we also know that HBO likes to do this. Yeah. This is the last episode before the penultimate.
Yeah.
We know that the penultimate in a lot of HBO shows is a grand slam.
Yeah.
Maybe they're setting us up for a little, for Ellie's going to kick the shit out of these guys. She's going to get in trouble. This is just a guess. I don't know. And Joel comes out of nowhere and saves the fucking day just when you think he's like a moot character.
Yeah, we don't see what happens off screen. Ellie also finds a bag of blood and gives a blood transfusion to Joel. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I'm still of the mindset, like I said, I haven't played the game past the Boston Museum, but that like somehow Tommy's going to come with people from the town, find Joel, and then save Ellie, and then bring Joel back to life. And not back to life, but...
Yeah, back to health. Yeah.
But, so, I mean, does Joel live through the end of the first season? It's another point. So,
or do you go full House of Cards and he makes it? Like, you don't know if he makes it.
Yeah.
And then you see him in the first episode of the second season, and then boom, he dies.
Yeah.
House of Cards season 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can, if you want to, I won't spoil it. So I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
So I know
we'll save that one for off air.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Last of Us?
Nah. Still love it. I mean, it's a great show. Pedro Pascal. The guy is...
Yeah. Today was big Pedro Pascal day for you.
Yeah. Guy's getting 10s across the board.
One helmeted and one not.
Yeah. It was a full dive, no splash, 10s across the board with Chuck Norris in the middle giving a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we switch to Mando.
Yeah.
Would you be a Fedra or a Firefly?
I'm a rule follower, man. I'd be Fedra.
So now as a 45-year-old, I would be Fedra, but back at Ellie's age, I would be Firefly. I mean, that's how I was. It was big time, like, I wasn't as much as a rule follower between, like, 14 and 22, and then I had to grow up.
I was a pretty big rule follower. Like, I wanted to join the military out of college.
Oh, okay.
So I would have wound up on like shit duty. Like, same as Riley.
All right.
Yeah. Questioning why I did this.
Yeah. And then,
or I'd be like, it'd be like the army like going to fight against this. I'd be dead in the first wave.
And I would come in and try to convince you to leave Fedra for the Fireflies, and then.
But it's the Stranger Things mall.
That's the only thing I kept thinking the whole time. I was like, are we gonna like go back to season 3 of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
In the mall, and
isn't that scary though? Is that like malls used to be a big thing, and now in TV shows today, it's like, oh, check out this derelict place where people used to go shop. Really sad.
But me and my buddy Craig were talking about Northwest Mall and off 290.
Yeah.
We used to work at Mangum and Tacoma off there, and we used to go to Northwest Mall to like Chick-fil-A or SRO Sports Bar to watch like March Madness, like, and this was like early 2000s or World Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
And I drove by there the other day, and I think it's completely shut down. But like that place was janky when we would go, but it was like the spot. We were talking about we wanted to go open it back up and put a Kenny Powers kiosk in there from I forget what it's called, the potato thing with all the fixins.
Yeah,
fixins.
Oh my god, that's great.
So we were talking about Northwest Mall, but yeah, like malls are either abandoned and derelict, or they like Babe Ruth by us opened up an outdoor space and tried to.
That place is blowing up, dude.
Yeah,
Babe Ruth Mall is insane right now. I remember when it was nothing.
Yeah,
and now it's got not that this is a mark of like how it's making it, but it's got a Perry's. It's got a Perry's and a Container Store
and an Apple store.
Yeah, and an Apple store. Yeah,
White House Black Market.
Yeah, Lego store. Well, they've always had that.
Dave and Buster's.
Oh yeah.
And then the Star Cinema Grill.
Who doesn't like D&B's?
It's got Roxpour, Rupor. It's got Roxpour. It's got all the fancy.
Who doesn't like $45 gumbo?
Oh my god, I see, like on this food thing that I'm on, and people are like, or no, it's not even. This was on Twitter before I got off, but like. I would follow this Astros Twitter thing, and so a lot of them somehow live like in Clear Lake and South, and they were looking for recommendations on restaurants all through Houston because they wanted to try a bunch of different restaurants.
Yeah, and
the amount of people putting like suburban chain restaurants in there was, and I hope some of it was just shithousery, but like a lot of people were like. Rupor, how do you say it? Rupor.
Yeah.
And like, and I'm like, guys, that's like just it's like give a real restaurant in Houston or even in like even in Clear Lake, like we.
Who doesn't love Chili's off of NASA Road 1?
Hey, I used to go to TGI Fridays on like. Fuquay over by where your dad works.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. So I mean, there's plenty of places like that, but I mean, like, there's so many great
hole in the wall.
Yeah, or even just nice restaurants that are just non-chain. Yeah. Like, don't recommend the status quo, man. Come with something.
Who doesn't love a good Applebee's?
Hey, they had 2 for Tuesdays, right?
Dude, I can't remember the last time I've been to an Applebee's.
Yeah.
It probably hits like this last episode of The Last of Us. Lacking.
Well, I used to take the kids to Chili's all the time, and like they had some good stuff for a while.
Dude, honey chipotle chicken crispers, they still got it.
Yeah, that's all I eat. I used to get the buffalo chicken salad. Oh, and they had it was the bomb. Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, I mean, there's good chain restaurants, so, but
yeah, it's just they're just like network TV.
Yeah,
it's out there. We'll watch it from time to time, but it's not our favorite.
Yeah. There's ways to grow.
Yeah,
don't have to stay stagnant.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really looking forward to the reboot of True Lies, the TV series.
Is there really one?
There is. I think it started. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna tell you how it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch Night Court as well?
Nah, I didn't watch Night Court growing up, so that's not for me.
All right. I did, but
well, you got to watch and tell me.
No.
Oh, yeah, I think Perry Mason started today.
Yes.
Season 2. Yeah.
I was gonna start with season 1. I need to get on that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch gears to Mando.
Yeah, dude, Mando started today. No, Monday.
No, it's today.
Today.
Today was
the first. That's right.
Yeah. So we're recording on the first.
I forget. Usually, I just associate the first of the month with Mondays.
Yeah, you're pretty smart.
Yeah, it's like North is always just up.
And Disney does the Wednesday releases, right? Apple TV does a lot of Friday releases.
Yeah.
It was so fun to be back in that universe.
Yeah, Mandoverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just hearing Pedro Pascal's voice, like,
this is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is fantastic.
I've got a poor Pedro Pascal impression, but I just love what he says. This is the way.
Yeah. Well, you haven't put on your helmet, so
I know. Yeah,
to distort your voice.
Still need to atone in the lake of Minnetonka.
the waters of the Lake of Minnetonka. So if you haven't seen it, if you're watching it, watch it. We watched it together. It's the first time we've watched it. So right before we recorded, we decided, hey, let's watch Mando, and then pod about it. So we watched it together, eating hot chicken, and just laughed our asses off. Like,
dude, we kept saying so much comedy. Normally, like, I don't know if you're like me. I think we are, like, to where if we're, like, especially in the movie theater, like, I don't like talking during the movie. 100%. So I was, like, trying to, like, curb how much I was talking because I know you're probably like me. But we kept, dude, it was so funny. Like, everything we would be like, like, so much funny commentary. We should have just live streamed it.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We probably shouldn't live stream it by some of the comedy we were saying, but...
Yeah. If we had a crazier podcast, it totally would.
The one we're gonna do on Parlor,
yeah.
Or, what's
so true.
Yeah, true. So there's like what's the video thing that's like YouTube but for right wing conspiracy theorists? Rumble. Yeah. Rumble. Have you heard of that? My friend used to send me videos.
Oh no.
From Rumble, but like you gotta watch this guy. He's telling the real news, and it'd be like, we're going back, like, the whole monetary system is not real, and we're a corporation.
Back to the gold standard.
Yeah, and, like, what's it? Dwight says, money hasn't been real since they got rid of the gold standard. But, yeah, so, anyway.
Yeah.
Mando.
So, technically, season 3, episode 1.
Yeah.
But it's chapter 17.
Yeah.
And the title was The Apostate.
Apostate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the apostate is, the meaning is around someone leaving the Catholic Church or trying to atone. There's some religious meaning around the word apostate. And maybe like maybe it's related to the apostles. But Mike's fervently Googling.
Apostasy, the total rejection of Christianity.
Yeah.
By a baptized person who, having at one time professed the Christian faith, publicly rejects it.
So, this episode, he's going back to cleanse himself to get back in the faith of the Mandalorian.
Yep.
But runs into Bo-Katan, who's basically like birds aren't real. And
yeah, just thumbing her nose at it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have the dark saber, so I couldn't. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go whine on my couch.
Gonna go hang out at this like fortress with just my robot and nobody else.
Yeah, we got Grogu back. We got Mando back. We visit Carl Weathers as Supreme Leader of Narnia.
Yeah,
with a
Prince Caspian and Narnia. Yeah.
What's the Navarro?
Yeah, Navarro. Yeah.
Navarro looks much different
Yeah.
Now than we last saw it, and
yeah, much more developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they did a 20-year jump like in The Last of Us?
Definitely. But it's the relativity of time. So he went away, and things
it's like the
aged.
planet from Interstellar,
yeah.
where
the farther you go in space, the slower time.
Every minute is a year on Earth.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
That's great.
So if he leaves for another 5 years and comes back, they'll be like flying around in like brain cars.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, he meets Carl Weathers and he's like, "Hey, I need a robot." And he's like, "Oh, well, I can get you a robot." And he's like, "No, I want that one. The one that like exploded in the lava river."
Yeah.
And somehow still have the parts to it.
Yeah, and obviously we see the droid betrays him and they have to fake C-3PO kills him.
That's drone on drone crime, man. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was hilarious because like they made him a statue out of him. And Din Djarin's there for all of like 15 minutes with a single tool. And he's like, "All right, he's hooked up to power now." And he's like, and he like turns it back on and he's like, kill. Yeah, that's when C-3PO, his cousin, kills him.
Dump the statue.
Dude, I love how they were like, "Okay, we'll take his parts from the statue," and all that's left is like the arm and the gun with legs. Yeah, so funny.
But, yeah, and we did. I mean, the episode starts off with a bunch of Mandalorian in a lake, and it almost looks like a flashback.
Yeah,
and they're like baptizing a young kid into the Mandalorian creed, and like the alligator turtle comes out of the water,
like huge alligator, like
and tries to eat everybody, and then everybody's gonna die. And
you didn't have anybody on boat duty, like with radars and stuff.
Yeah, scanning the ocean floor,
or like baiting it like 3 miles upriver. Yeah.
But Mando and Grogu come in and save the day.
Yeah, just in
and
time.
Then they first thing they're like, "Thank you for saving us. Have you ever taken off your helmet?" He's like, "Yes." All right, you're banished from.
Get the hell out of here. Yeah.
But
I did like how they'd opened with the Forge making the helmet, and it was like a smaller helmet. I was like, "Ooh, little Grogu helmet." Yeah. But it was for the youngling. Yeah.
I think that's the perfect ending to the Mandalorian.
Should be.
Is like Grogu and Mando are on Mandalore, and Grogu has used his powers to like decrystallize and depoison Mandalore.
Yeah.
And Grogu and Din are like sitting on the throne, and all the Mandalorian are back, and this like Mandalorian servant comes with like a tiny helmet. Yeah. And the ending is just he puts on the helmet.
He puts it on in the little ear stick.
Yeah. Yes. And it's like then it cuts to black, and it's like dun, 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 dun.
So
just goes dun, 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 like dun, 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 like right to the theme song.
Yeah.
And we're like, and we all cry.
Yeah.
And then it's the greatest TV show ever made.
And then Disney does the spin-off, and then it just sucks.
They do a cartoon version.
That's great. Mando Grogu. Yeah. So we saw that where he saves the day during the ceremony of the baptism of the Mando kid.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Carl Weathers trying to sell him a timeshare on Nomad or whatever it's called. Navarro. Yeah.
He spends like 5 minutes being like, "We got this great parcel of land, like it's in Edo."
It's right downtown near all the hot spots.
Yeah, we got new hot bars and restaurants. It's going through some gentrification. Like, I mean, it's just like, what? He's always hustling.
Yeah. Just hawking land, trying to get Mando to be the like marshal.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nah, I work alone."
Yeah.
Still Grogu.
Yeah.
Yeah, then pirates show up. And they're like, "Oh, we're here for a drink." And he's like, "That's a school now?"
Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, that was weird.
He kills all the pirate buddies, and then as he's leaving, the pirate has a whole squad.
Yeah.
And, of course...
a huge frigate, somehow.
Yeah. And Mando kicks in hyperdrive.
Awesome.
And that's where they end up with Bo-Katan.
I would have loved to have seen him do the hyperdrive right past the ship, and it, like, shatters the windows.
Yeah, that'd been cool.
Like full supersonic, yeah. But it is space, so there is no sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, he leaves.
Yeah.
Then he goes to see, what's her name? Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
And she's like, you still have the Darksaber? He's like, yeah. She's like, well, then you go lead the resistance on Mandalore.
Yeah. So now he's going to.
Oh yeah, and then he takes the robot to the little guys.
Yeah.
Who also work for the lady who repaired his ship. Like, it's the same kind of creatures, I guess. Yeah. But I love that because it's like, oh, it's cool. They're in their workshop.
The gremlins.
He's like hanging out, and then like you see it in like
dim.
He's like crouched.
Yeah, sitting Indian style. Yeah. Crisscross applesauce, whatever you say now.
Yeah.
And they're just talking gibberish, and then occasionally they say like a real word, and Grogu like goes behind with him and like tries to choke it out. We were cracking up. That was the best thing ever.
So funny. Yeah, I love how Carl Weathers was like trying to translate.
Yeah.
The little guy's like, he needs a new part.
Yeah.
And Carl Weathers like,
he needs a new part.
He's like, no shit. Yeah, I love how like Mando is so confident that he'll be able to find one of these parts in order to resurrect this robot for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's like there's no rhyme or reason to.
He's got a memory thing. Well, it can't be. The memory core's broken.
Yeah. So just buy a new robot because you're going to replace its memory, so it's going to be new anyways.
C-3PO's hanging out there somewhere. He could walk around and annoy the shit out of you.
A 2PO was there.
The albino version.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. Albino C-3PO in the streets. I mean, I guess he's going to try to use that as like his own train killing machine.
He's just gonna bring it back to life for it to be a decoy.
Yeah, then they leave, right? They leave Navarro again.
Yeah. Yeah, they left the planet, they saw Bo-Katan. And I think that was it. I mean, I totally forget that the show is like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm so used to HBO shows right now. They're like an hour 10.
Yeah, everything is long. But I mean, we're going to have, Ted Lasso's 30 minutes. That comes back in a couple weeks. And then Succession's an hour.
The final season of Succession.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it ends with him with talking to Bo-Katan, talking about the Lake Minnetonka below the Civic Center is like not magical. It's been ravaged and blah blah. He's like, well, I'll see if it's poison, and then walks off, and that's like the end of it.
Yeah. Well, he has a piece of Mandalore that he got from a traveler.
Yeah, he traded for it. Somebody managed to go to Mandalore and survive. It's all been crystallized.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens this season. We have the last we saw of them was in the last couple episodes of Boba Fett. So now we're back on the mission to Mandalore. Yeah. So
it's good to be back.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations and goofy adventures on the way.
Typical Mando. Every week a new trial.
Yes. Yeah. I have spoken.
Yeah. This is the way.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Mando? I'm just happy it's back. It's a fun watch.
It is a fun watch. We laughed so much watching it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Pedro Pascal, guy just needs to cash in.
Yeah.
Go hang out for a couple of years and then come back and just win an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
So should we go watch Cocaine Bear together?
Oh my god, yeah. I think that would be hilarious.
We take off work early one day and just hit the movie theater.
Watch Cocaine Bear, and then we do just an entire marathon of Sharknado.
Tara Reid's greatest film.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, Over the Big Lebowski.
Or American Pie. Lots of good quality films.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, man. Any other thoughts on Mando?
No. Yeah. Just good stuff. It was fun watching with you.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to do this after work. A lot of laughs. I hope everybody else enjoyed it.
We laughed. We cried. we laughed again.
We laughed again, as you must.
Yes.
But I know I enjoyed it. So I hope everybody watching the video enjoyed it because we were laughing a lot. So
yeah.
Be sure to tune in next week. We're going to be talking shrinking, of course, and more Mando. And the penultimate episode of The Last of Us.
Yeah. Yeah. Going to be an exciting weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Be sure to check us out on all the podcast platforms. Tell your friends about us. Go to our website at kickingitmedia.com.
Yep.
Our Instagram is canwekickitpod. You can always email us at canwekickitpod1@gmail.com.
Hey, and while you're on our Instagram, click on the link tree.
Yeah, Chuck put this nice link tree together.
And Mike completely upgraded it to make it look even better. And linked everything that we have. So, all in one spot. Go to our Instagram at canwekickitpod. Click on our link tree. And you can listen to us from there. You can go to our Twitter, which has like one tweet because Chuck gave up Twitter.
Merv!
See our picture of Interstellar.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's got everything, so we look forward to you listening. We love what we do. And as always,